Joe, you never really talk about your one that got away. What was she like?
Well, I was something of a bad boy back then. And she said that bad boys make girls' hearts beat faster.
You mean bad boys make women's hearts beat faster, right?
Her words, not mine.
Gotcha. What else did she say?
Well, she said I was a fantastic lover.
So why did you break up?
She said I was the closest to true evil she ever wanted to come. And boy, did she come.
Ah. Let me guess. Because you're an atheist, right?
No, because I made a deal with the devil, then tried to dodge it by eating the heart of some young soldier, thus assuming his identity.
Oh, that old trick.
Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast that looks at movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romacka. And today we're discussing Angel Heart from 1987 and some historical context. And we're discussing that movie because I put it on the list because it came up in a bunch of different cast lists, and sometimes a movie comes up often enough and I'm like, okay, I should probably see that movie.
I thought I put it on the list.
I put it on the list because you'd seen it in so many cast lists.
Ah, okay.
But first, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com, on Facebook, Letterboxd, and our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even the ones with crippling fears of chickens, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/dtswpod.
Now, George, take us back to 1987.
And that's the way it was.
This film went all over the place, thematically speaking. It starts off as a kind of noir detective story and then takes a hard turn into weird supernatural shit.
Oh, that's one of my first questions.
We have everything from a grifting pastor in Harlem to voodoo practices in Louisiana. Let's start with the latter, coming to us from the Southwest Daily News of Sulphur, Louisiana.
There's a place called Sulphur, Louisiana, really?
Uh-huh. If any place is hell, you'd think, right? Except I think there are towns called Hell, too.
There are literally towns called Hell, yes. But I never heard of Sulphur, Louisiana. Shall I read the headline?
Yes, you shall.
Voodoo versus Hoodoo.
Joanne McShane Jennings, also known as Lady Bishop, wants to set the record straight that voodoo is not about things like poking dolls with pins to cause pain or biting the heads off of chickens. It's also not about those things. Voodoo dolls, and I'm quoting, can be an extension of voodoo in the hands of a person who is evil to begin with.
Okay, sure.
Right. And chopping chicken heads is, again quoting, a misunderstood, minor form of synthetic magic bordering on witchcraft.
Wait. There's a difference between magic and witchcraft?
There's a synthetic magic? There's a lot of words in that small sentence that make a lot of question marks show up.
All I believe is in synthetic magic. In a young girl's heart.
As for what voodoo is, she has things to say about that as well. She says it's an African science tied to the laws of nature, dealing with the spirits and the saints.
Let's not bring the Africans into this, please.
Or science! This article is just chock full of shit to make my skeptic hackles go up. She just really wants people to not get their ideas about voodoo from the movies. I can actually agree with her on that. Movies are all too often a terrible way to learn about anything real or imaginary.
Especially since in movies, voodoo is real.
And she says that hoodoo is Hollywood's version of voodoo that makes fun of voodoo. But isn't hoodoo actually a different religion?
Okay, I sort of know this. Voodoo is just another name. Well, at least my understanding is voodoo is just another name for hoodoo. It's the same exact thing. They just call it hoodoo, some call it voodoo. I don't know where the hoodoo came in, but in a way, it almost sounds to me like jazz. There were different names for jazz, like swing and the sort of thing. So that's my understanding, but I don't know. Maybe this lady knew more than I did. I only know what I read in books.
She was very, very adamant, and patrons can check the link in the show, or actually anybody can check the link in the show notes, to say that no, hoodoo is the movies making fun of voodoo.
Well.
So I don't think she was right on that, despite having been trained by people in Haiti and Africa, which she claims to have done, and spent time in like 46 different states, all of which were delusion.
I mean, ultimately, voodoo is an offshoot of Catholicism, because that's really how it started.
Yep.
The colonizers were Catholic. They brought their religion over, and the Haitians and other various groups merged their religion with Catholicism, and that's where voodoo came from, or hoodoo.
Yep. But it's really hard to learn when you have certain types of amnesia, which plays something of a role in the plot of Angel Heart. The next story is actually a write-in column by Dr. Alan Bruckheim from the Post-Star of Glen Falls, New York. Joe?
Complete amnesia is a possibility.
A reader wanted to know if it's really possible to forget, like, everything. And Dr. Bruckheim says yes, it is. During functional or psychogenic amnesia, a person indeed suppresses knowledge of themselves and their own life while still being able to assimilate new information. This can be caused by trauma as a way for the mind to protect itself by putting itself into an alternate, less stressful reality, which begs the question of how stressful something has to be for losing your identity to be less stressful.
Also, that sounds like bullshit to me, because I believe that there was a thing called the Holocaust, there was a thing called slavery, and for some reason those people didn't have amnesia. They very much remember what was happening to them, so that was a pretty stressful situation just off the top of my head, and of course, there are various other genocides throughout life, and maybe happening right now in our current reality, and none of those people seem to have amnesia.
Maybe not in numbers big enough to report, or nobody was actually looking.
You think they would come up somewhere.
Because when they go asking people for their stories of those times, the people that don't raise their hands are the ones that can't remember.
I guess, but you think, well, a doctor or someone going, oh, here's this person had this horrible trauma, and they don't remember any of it. I don't know. I don't think that's. I think physically, yeah. Like, and of course, dementia, that is a real forgetting, but actual trauma where you forget? I don't think that's legit.
Well, in contrast, in transient global amnesia, a person has their memories and knowledge, but is unable to incorporate new information. Think 50 First Dates 10-Second Tom.
Or what about, what the movie we saw where the guy couldn't have any new memories?
I don't remember. I know we saw one like that, but I don't remember what it was.
I want to say Inception, but that's...
Memento.
Memento, that's it, yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Both of these amnesias can be caused by trauma or by disrupted blood flow to the brain. Oftentimes, aspirin is used to thin the blood to allow those parts of the brain to start running again.
Well, then, wouldn't that wouldn't be trauma? I mean, I guess that's physical trauma, then that's not psychological trauma.
I mean, or your body, if your brain is rearranging itself to protect itself from knowing things, like it can, I guess, do that. I mean, your stress does raise your blood pressure. Like your
but I don't know.
Circulatory system can respond to stressors.
Yeah, but forgetting stuff, I don't know.
Well, our protagonist also has a crippling fear of chickens. A fear of birds is ornithophobia, and it seems to actually had a rise in prevalence after 1963 when Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds was released.
Of course.
The specific fear of chickens is Alektorophobia. No, that's not the fear of electing a fascist as a result of having an electoral college. Phobias like this are often, like amnesia, results of trauma involving the feared thing. Treatment is usually exposure and cognitive behavioral therapies.
All right, so wait. All right, I guess birds is all, and chicken is specific. So you can have a fear of chickens, but not necessarily of all birds. It's just the chickens you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Okay. And all after 1963 in the Hitchcock. Man, human beings so easily manipulated.
Yup, we sure the fuck are, Joe. If I was impressed by anything in this film, it was with one particular fact and the protagonist knowing that particular fact. To set the scene, our protagonist has been contracted to find a missing person. His first stop is an asylum, where he flirts with the receptionist, who shows him a record saying the target was transferred on New Year's Eve 1943. The film takes place in 1955. Our protagonist notes that the entry regarding that transfer was written in ballpoint pen, remarking that ballpoint pens weren't really around all that much in 1943. So I looked it up, and he's right. The first ballpoint pens in the US were sold in 1945 by the Reynolds International Pen Company at Gimbel's department store in New York City for $12.50 a piece in 1945 dollars, or $223.24 in today's dollars.
Wow. That's a lot of money to get a pen.
Yeah. The most successful ballpoint pen now is the Bic Cristal, with over 1 billion sold, which can be bought today in packs of 500 for $75 or about 15 cents a piece.
Who's buying packs of ballpoint? Well, I guess if you have an office, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So let's talk about Angel Heart.
Yes, let's do that. Let's go through our little film summary. Now, the staffing. It was written and directed by Alan Parker, whose work I've seen in Midnight Express and Road to Wellville.
And I've seen him direct Evita.
Don't cry for me, Argentina! It's the only.
Please never ever do that again.
That's the only line, though, from that musical. Oh, gotta share something with you from Midnight Express. This is the, not the first film, one of the first films I saw nudity in. And here's the thing. Now, this is based on a real man's life. He was stealing drugs. I think he was trying to get them out of Turkey or somewhere, some foreign country. And he got caught and they put him in the local prison, and it was not great. So he got to see his girlfriend while he was in jail. And supposedly, according to the movie, she opened up her blouse to show her breasts, and he started licking the glass because he was so horny for sex, which I'm pretty sure they would not allow, but according to the film, that's what happened.
Okay.
And also, again, according to the film, as I remember it, and people can write in and correct me if they've seen Midnight Express lately and I'm getting it wrong, you could obviously get in trouble if you hurt another inmate. The fighting wasn't allowed. However, if you stabbed them in the ass, that was okay. Paging Dr. Freud. I'm not making that up, I swear.
I don't even know what to do with that information, Joe.
You stab him in the chest, stab him in the back. No. Stab him in the ass. Okay, that's fine. All right, just had to share that little tidbit. This is also written by William Hartzberg.
Yeah, I think that's Hortzberg.
William Hartzberg. This is written by William Hartzberg.
Sure.
IMDb says, in 1955 New Orleans, small-time private investigator Harry Angel, everybody, Angel, get it? Is hired by a man who calls himself Louis Cypher. Louis Cypher. Cyphieri. To track down a singer named Johnny Favorite. But the investigation takes an unexpected and somber turn.
Well, he's not hired in New Orleans. He ends up in New Orleans.
He's hired in New York City. He's a detective in New York City.
Yeah.
YouTube says, the time is the 1950s. Seedy Brooklyn private eye Harry Angel, Mickey Rourke, is hired by shady Louis Cypher, Robert De Niro, to locate a pop singer who reneged on a debt. Harry ventures into Harlem, the first step of a Heart of Darkness-inspired odyssey. Each time Harry makes contact with someone who might know the singer's whereabouts, he or she is killed in a horrible, ritualistic fashion. A satanic cult seems to be at the bottom of all the carnage. Harry solves the mystery all right. He just didn't know that he had the answer all along, even before Lewis entered his office.
Lewis never entered his office.
No, he goes to Lewis.
Yep.
Characters. Harry Angel's played by Mickey Rourke, as the blurb said.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen him for the podcast in Sin City. And George and I have both seen him in Iron Man 2. And I seen him in 1941, None Another Church Movie, Buffalo 66, and Diner. Herman Weinsap is played by Dan Florrick.
And I've seen him in the Law & Order Special Victim Unit TV show and the Flintstones, the movie.
Alrighty. Who was he in the Flintstones, do you remember?
I think he was Fred's boss.
Mr. Boulder? What was Fred's boss in the Flintstones? Doesn't matter.
Don't remember.
It had to be some sort of rock formation, I'm sure.
Yep.
Louis Cypher. Get it? Do you sound it? All right. Anyway, is played by Robert De Niro. For the podcast, we've seen him in Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and we just saw him in Analyze This.
Mm-hmm.
And we've both seen him in Meet the Parents. And I've seen him in The Irishman, Killer of the Flower Moon, Joker, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook, Meet the Fockers, Wag the Dog, Heat, The Untouchables, Brazil, The Kim Comedy, and Mean Streets.
And I've seen him in We're No Angels, Backdraft, and Men of Honor.
Dr. Robert Fowler is played by Michael Higgins. I've seen him in The Savages, The Seduction of Joe Tynan, and The Stepford Wives. Epiphany Proudfoot is played by Lisa Bonet. And for the podcast, we've seen her in High Fidelity, and we've both seen her in The Cosby Show. And I've seen her in A Different World from Where You Come From. Margaret Kruzmark is played by Charlotte Rampling. And I've seen her in Bernadette, The Verdict, Stardust Memories, Orca, and A Hard Day's Night. Orca, by the way, for those who remember, or old as I am, was the ripoff of Jaws. That is the killer whale as opposed to the killer shark.
Ah. And I've seen her in Assassin's Creed.
Toot Sweet is played by Brownie McGee. That could have been his name in the film, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And for the podcast, we've seen him in The Jerk. And I've seen him in A Face in the Crowd. Detective Demos is played by Prute Taylor Vince. And for the podcast, we've seen him in Constantine.
And I've seen him in Dr. Dolittle, the 1998 one, and Sim 1.
Oh, we've mentioned that picture before as well.
Hmm.
Ethan Krosmark is played by Stalker Fantolou. And I've seen him in Live and Let Die. All right, let's do the summary, ladies and gentlemen. The blurbs already lay out the plot, but here is a quick summary with spoilers.
Yay.
Mickey Rourke gets hired by Robert De Niro to find a guy that owes De Niro from a contract the guy signed with De Niro. As Mickey investigates, dead people turn up. A doctor that treated the missing guy, the former girlfriend of the guy, and a former bandmate of this guy all wind up dead. Later, the daughter of the guy will have sex with Rourke, and she'll turn up dead. And here is the plot twist. Robert De Niro is the devil. Mickey sold his soul to him to become a jazz star. To get out of his deal with the devil, he possesses some other guy, or eats his heart, whatever, and hides, hoping that would hide him from Satan. How Satan wouldn't know all this, I don't know, but he doesn't. Also don't know why all these people had to die, but we can discuss that.
He did know all of this. He knew who Harry was from the moment he hired him.
Well, we'll get it.
This was all to get him to understand who he was.
Okay, well, we can discuss that, because I wonder why you have to go through all those things to do that. But anyway, by the way, lots of voodoo is here, and blood comes down from the ceiling when people have sex. I don't know why, but it did. First question, is this more a crime movie or a horror movie?
Oh, definitely a horror movie. This is a horror movie with a thin veneer of noir crime story. Because there's not even a crime being investigated here. Even the very beginning of it is, this guy made a deal with me, signed a contract, and then he went off grid. I just want to know if he's alive or dead. That's not even investigating a breach of contract. That's just trying to verify if somebody's alive or dead.
which is the premise he comes up with. Why he does that, I do not know. Seems unnecessary. When did you figure out DeNiro was the devil and that Harry Angel was investigating himself?
I figured he was investigating himself kind of from the moment the film started. Like, there's no way there's going to be somebody he finds. Like, when he started having flashbacks, I'm like, what the fuck is he flashing back to? Why does he have to have flashbacks that he doesn't seem to understand? Oh, because he's not who he thinks he is. Duh. I figured out DeNiro was the devil when I saw him eating an egg menacingly, and he had coke nails on all of his fingers and a ring with a pentagram on it.
Yeah, this is when I text you, they're just telegraphing. I wish I hadn't seen this movie before, because I don't know how much of it is I'm remembering it, and that's why it seems familiar to me, or how much I'm just like, yeah, this is bullshit, because I can tell what's going on here. So
yeah, the thing is, when you sent me that text, I thought he was going to die. Because in Rent, you were like, of course, the character named Angel dies.
Yeah, but that isn't what I was hinting. Although he does die.
Sort of. I mean, eventually, because everybody dies.
Yes.
But he's alive at the end of the movie.
Well, we see him going to hell, though, at the very end during the credits. Or he's going to the elevator, presumably he's going to hell. Well, he says he's going to burn in hell.
He says he's going to burn in hell. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? Let's get right into that. All right. Let's set it up for those who haven't seen the movie in a while and don't remember. Okay, everyone's dead. DeNiro. I'm sorry, Ricky Rourke, Harry Angel, detectives come and they go, hey, all these people are dead. We think you did it. We're going to put you in jail. You're going to burn for this. And he says, yes, I'm going to burn for hell, because he now knows who he is. He knows he's the guy he's been searching for. He's going to burn in hell because he made a deal with the devil. And the Lisa Bonet's character has a child. For some reason, the cops don't have the child. The child wasn't there before, but suddenly the cops have the child. And the kid, the cops on the kid, and the kid points at Mickey Rourke, and his eyes light up. It is the funniest shit. It's supposed to scare us. They're supposed to be shocked. And I laughed so hard.
But I can't for the life of me think of the lore reason why that kid would have those demon eyes that Lucifer had. The only other time we see them is Lucifer. Like, the kid was the product of, okay. Okay, so you remember the story about how Lisa Bonet's characters
sex with the devil. Sex with a god? It's a god you're supposed to have sex with, right?
Well, sort of. Like, it was basically some voodoo orgy.
Right.
Quote, the best fuck she's ever had, unquote. And she doesn't necessarily know who the father was. Right. So I guess this could have been Rosemary's Baby, sort of methods of insemination, and this could be a devil child.
Before Rosemary. Rosemary did not enjoy what happened to her.
No, she did not.
Yeah, but why? And I guess the baby's a demon like she is. Although, why did she have to die? I'm jumping ahead now, but whatever. Why did she have to die? In fact, why did everyone have to die? What was even the point of that?
Lucifer had control over Harry.
Right.
The whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wanted Harry to suffer. And he made him suffer by having everybody in his wake die.
But he's killing, other than the Lisa Bonet character, he's killing people that don't really mean anything to him. So how's he really suffering?
Well, no. He was Johnny Favorite. Johnny
Favorite. That's
Johnny Favorite was a bandmate with Toot Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
He was Margaret's lover.
You're right. I see what you're saying, right? It's not Mickey Rourke. It's the Johnny Favorite is the one he's punishing by killing all these people. Okay, now I get it. All right. Because otherwise I'm like, why? I don't want to. But you're right. The private detective persona takes over. I guess that's supposed to be the. Okay, here, let's set this up. Johnny Favorite goes to Times Square.
Okay, stop. Let's just go to the prelogue to this, right? Johnny Favorite wants to be a star. He wants to be like a Frank Sinatra, right? I don't think Frank Sinatra was Frank Sinatra yet, but he wants to be that.
Frank Sinatra was a star in that time, yeah.
Okay, so he makes a deal with the devil. And the devil,
you do.
As you do. And the devil makes good, makes him a star. So he gets sent over to the European theater of the war as part of like a USO entertainment thing. And they get attacked and he gets fucked up. His face gets fucked up and his career is basically over. He gets shipped back home and put into an asylum, claiming to be suffering amnesia. On New Year's Eve, his girlfriend and her father show up and check him out of this mental institution. They pay the doctor, Dr. Fowler, $25,000 in 1943 to just let him, with a bandage on his face, walk out of there. They drive to New York City on New Year's Eve and find some schlub soldier and basically kidnap him, remove his heart, and in a ritual have Johnny Favorite eat this soldier named Harry Angel's heart. This lets him become Harry Angel with Harry Angel's memories, but not really because he's still Johnny Favorite inside.
Now
that's where the story starts.
That's where the story starts, and we work backwards as the story goes along. Well, it still begs the question, okay, we shouldn't say no, all this is going on.
Okay, yeah, but
this from him.
Right, real quick, the reason that he does all that is to try and get out of his deal with the devil, because with his career over,
I could just change his body, and the devil for some reason won't know.
Right. Funny thing is, we watched it. Kit was on the couch while I was watching this. Then we watched the Old Guard one and the new one that just came out. Mm-hmm. And then we were watching this Korean show on Netflix where it's this demon and this girl, and like she saves the demon from drowning, and now the demon can only work his demon powers when he's holding her wrist because his like power tattoo transferred to her or some shit. It's a lot. It's Korean. But one of the things is he's trying to track down this guy that is stalking the girl, and he can't because the guy keeps changing his face. And I just thought it was a weird sort of parallel between that show and the movie I watched earlier in the day. But the thing is, the devil wasn't fooled for 1 second by fucking any of this shit. He knew exactly what was happening and just was letting things go until he got bored enough to like pursue it.
I guess that has to be the answer. He's just bored. Because otherwise, why not just start from the very beginning and just, as soon as he sees him bandaged up, just take him then? Why let him go through all this other stuff? It just doesn't make no sense to me. Well, I guess I was going to ask whether the murders were necessary, but I guess in a sense you explained that part. What do you think is the meaning of the mirrors, the blood, and the water, and the chickens? Why is he afraid of chickens?
I don't know why he's afraid of chickens. I have no explanation for why he's afraid of chickens.
Over and over again, he says, I gotta think about chickens, I'm afraid of chickens.
I mean, but as far as having a character quirk, it works. You don't really need a reason for it. It was consistent. There was never a moment where there was a chicken involved that was not, like, on a plate in front of him cooked, that he's not, like, terrified of it. So, like, they worked it in there and worked it well.
I don't know how other way. I still made you wonder, like, well, why is he afraid of chickens? And
I don't need to know why anybody's afraid of a thing that they're afraid of. They just are.
I do if I'm watching a movie. And also, is it Johnny Favorite who's afraid, or is it Harry Angel who's afraid of chickens?
Yes.
What about the mirrors and the blood? What the hell was that on about?
What about the mirrors? I'm blanking on what mirrors have to do with it.
He looks in the mirrors a lot, if you recall. He's constantly looking in the mirror. And of course, at the end, he said, I know who I really am. I know who I really am. But it constantly throughout the film, he's looking. In fact, some of the flashbacks happen after he looks into the mirror. He looks into a mirror and he flashes back to New York, Times Square. He looks in the mirror. And of course, he does that, like I said, I know who I am, I am. He looks in the mirror during the sex, not during the sex, before they have sex. It just is a bunch of mirror. I guess you didn't notice. All right. So.
Yeah, because it didn't mean anything.
I think it did. I presume it had to do with duality, maybe. And
yeah, it's. I don't know. Yeah, that's as good an answer as any, Joe. You have it.
Bullshit.
The blood was because like the blood coming down from the ceiling was because he was murdering his daughter while fucking her, and that was just symbolic of like, and him choking her right at the end, like. The fact that the cops didn't clock that she was dead when they came the next morning being all racist and shit was fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if she was supposed to have been dead then, but who knows? I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. It made no sense to me. I don't. Oh, but let's get into, since we're talking about the sex scene, Lisa Bonet. And I'm sure you have no memory of this whatsoever, but I certainly do. When this film came out, Bill Cosby lost his goddamn mind. He said, how could she do this? She's showing off her body and she's having sex and there's blood all over the place and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, this was all treated very seriously because you had the Cosby Show and she was the good daughter on the show. And you look back on it now and you go like, this, I mean, it goes far beyond being a hypocrite. This man was probably sexually abusing some poor woman at the time he's doing this film. Now, Bonet is doing this film and he's criticizing her for it. And the hypocrisy is just off the charts. Like, imagine the balls on this person. Like, how could she do this? I'm such a good, upstanding person. I could have such a thing in a film. Oh, my God. And it's funny. I was talking to my our mutual friend Jackie about this. I was telling her I was going to see this movie, or rather, we were going to talk about the movie. Angel Heart, and by the way, she remembers liking because she had a crush on Mickey Rourke. And so as far as she was concerned, it was great because she thought Mickey Rourke was really cute. But she doesn't really remember so much about the Cosby thing, but she does know that it was really she remembers the sex scene was like more graphic than she thought it was going to be. She was kind of surprised how much it saw. Which also, looking back, also surprised me. I don't know if those are body doubles, or do you think that was really them grinding on top of each other?
I have no idea, Joe. I don't see why you would pay other people to be doing that.
I do. A lot of people have body doubles. I'm like, I'm not doing that scene. You want me to do that scene? Hire someone else to do it. But it was interesting. By the way, I did not remember how much you see Lisa Bonet's breasts, which are great. I enjoyed that part of the film. But
there are a lot of breasts in this movie. Some of them were kind of weird. Not the breasts themselves, but the fact that they were there. Like, when we don't even mention the poor woman. He's got a friend that works for, like, the New York Times.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
She comes over, like, they meet up in a bar, and then they go back to his place, and she is just as disinterested. I'm trying to draw a parallel here. It's kind of The Fifth Element. Like, there was an announcer lady, or the ticketing lady that just sounded bored out of her fucking mind. And that's how she sounded as he's taking her clothes off and she is relaying plot points to him. And, like, he lights up a cigarette after getting her clothes off, before getting his clothes off. And Kit sees this and she's like, that's not when you light up the cigarette.
Well, in all fairness, he seemed pretty dispassionate about it himself. Neither one of them seemed like they really wanted to be there.
No, but I guess they had nothing better going on.
I guess. Let's go back to my place. We'll take your clothes off and then I'll have a smoke. I don't know. Maybe that's how they did it in the 50s. You don't know.
Maybe.
Is there anybody in this film we're supposed to care about?
No. The only two people that are present from the beginning to the end are Lucifer and the protagonist. And the protagonist turns out to be a deal-dodging murderer, and then there's Lucifer. Everybody else dies. And we don't get to know them well enough to care about them.
No. Even Lisa Bonet was in a lot more of the film than some of these other people get bumped off. We really don't get to know her that much. And what she says is, like, really weird. So, like, we see her doing a voodoo or hoodoo, I don't know which one, ritual, and then later she's fucking Mickey Rourke for some bizarre reason. I guess she thought he was cute, like Jackie did, and they suddenly banging. And that's about it. She tells this weird story about, it was the best fuck ever had by the devil or the god or whoever was that helps her and gets inseminated. I did not care for any of this. So let's get into does it still work? And I'll start it off since I began with that sentence. I did not like this movie at all.
No, fuck this movie, Joe. Fuck it all the way.
Did it still work? I don't think it worked back then. I have no memory of what I thought of it back then in 1987 when I first saw it in the theaters. But seeing it as a big old adult now, did not care for it. Didn't like the characters, didn't like the story, thought the story was convoluted, thought it was... Also, we didn't bring this up, but we mentioned it earlier about Harry saying that he was an atheist at some point. And if nothing else happened, you knew as soon as he says he's an atheist, he's going to be proven wrong. Yeah,
but by that point, like, we already knew that the devil is asking him if he's an atheist.
Yes, that's true. But still, I mean, I would love, and I know these films probably still exist, but I've seen very few where the protagonist says he's an atheist, and is not at the end of the film proven to be doesn't know what they're talking about. Yeah. It's such a trope over and over again. It has to be a film specifically about atheism before the guy's proven wrong. And maybe House, although House is an asshole.
Yeah.
He's one of the few times the guy's like, oh, he's not proven wrong about it. But everything is like, always. It's almost like filmmakers are afraid to actually have an atheist at the head of the movie and be not proven wrong by the end of it. It's like, oh, we can't have that. It's box office poison or something. I don't get it. Anyway, but I was saying about why I don't think this film works. And I guess that's one of the reasons I don't think it works. The characters aren't interesting enough. The story, I think, is too convoluted and stupid. Why would the devil need to go through all this? It's ridiculous. I have no idea why it even has to be set back in the 50s. What was that for? Could have been set in modern day.
I think it had to be set in 1955 to make use of that fact about ballpoint pens.
Just so that could be that clue?
Yeah, I think that's what actually started this movie. I think he knew a thing, I don't know, I guess the writer, Hertzberg, knew he was a nerd about pens, and he wanted to write a story where the linchpin of it was knowing when ballpoint pens proliferated in the United States. That's the only context in which this movie works. Because if he didn't realize that, he had nothing. Like, if he didn't notice that transfer order can't have been written in 1943, that has to have been recent. Like, if he didn't know that, fuck it. I guess he was transferred in 1943. The trail goes cold here.
All right, yeah. All right, well, what did you think?
No, fuck this movie. You have kind of made me a believer in gritty, detective movies. Like, I can appreciate a good gritty noir. This starts off like that, and then jerks off in the mirror. Like, this was a film, like, if you like lots of nudity and gore, then this is a good movie for you. If not, no. And also, the people use the N-word in this, and there's no comeuppance for it, so fuck this movie.
Well, there are cops, so it sort of makes sense.
In Louisiana, in 1955. Like, I get why they're doing it. And even though Harry Angel is going to hell, he doesn't buy into it. He doesn't, validate their racism.
Oh, to be fair, he doesn't say, hey, fuck off with that language or anything. Which he could have. Why not?
He could have.
But then again...
Because that might get him into heaven. If God existed and was just.
Or if he committed suicide, or didn't commit suicide, I'm sorry, which wasn't for Constantine. Right, he didn't get into committed suicide.
Yeah. So, no, this movie doesn't, it felt exploitive. Like, the nudity in it felt exploitive, and again, it starts off, you have to be into, a detective movie is intellectual. You're looking for all the pieces that have to logically make sense. This one takes logic and fucks it with a rake.
Well, I mean, I'll push back a little bit on that in terms of whether the detective story has to make sense, because God knows it really doesn't. It just has to be interesting.
No, a good one will conclude someplace.
Oh, sure, okay. I'm just thinking about, because I wish I could. It was a Bogart movie, and again, folks, if you know which picture I'm talking about, you can write in and remind me. But I believe he was playing Sam Spade, but I don't recall exactly. Anyway, in the movie, a character is bumped off. I think it's a chauffeur. And the director of the film was like, oh, I don't know why this character is killed. So he calls the guy who wrote the book. And he goes, hey, why is this character bumped off? And the writer had no idea. I don't know. It's in the, I don't know why I killed that.
Don't you know? I write books specifically to kill off characters in them.
Like Stranger Than Fiction.
Yep.
All right, so we just tied in a bunch of other films we've watched. I think that's enough. I don't know where else to go with this. I didn't like it. You didn't like it. It doesn't hold up anymore, if it ever did. It's not an interesting picture. I mean, if you think Mickey Rourke's cute, then maybe you'll enjoy it. Oh, something else I should point out.
The thing is, I didn't. I don't, in this movie, he didn't seem attractive to me. Like, I can't understand how he had sex with 3 different women in this movie.
He was a sex symbol in his time. I don't see it either, but he was. But here's another thing also, real quick, that bothers me about films like this. They have no problem showing women nude, especially their breasts. But, not that I want to see it, but still, if you're going to have naked ladies, they should have naked men. Why is the peenie something that's off limits to show?
Well, we didn't see the downstairs of anybody.
That's true. That's fair, I guess.
We saw butts of everybody. We didn't see down the front downstairs.
Mm. But I was always just very curious when they do that. But yeah, I guess it is a little different with the show everyone's chest. But I don't know. But we both agree. It does not work. Didn't care for it. What's up next?
All right. Well, our next episode is a Patron's Choice episode, and we don't know what the movie will be because our patrons vote on them, and that vote hasn't been finalized yet as of this recording. If you want to vote but are not a patron, you can fix that by becoming one at patreon.com/DTSWpod.
So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm George Romacka. Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Romacka.
This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org.
The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
Now for the blurbs. IMDb says, in 1955 New Orleans, small-time private investigator...
Try it again.
Yes. In 1955... And now the blurbs.
From No Stupid Questions. Why does attempted murder get a lower sentence than murder? Why should a criminal be awarded for their incompetence? From Stupid Questions. Why is it more common for a woman to leave the husband than the other way around? From Random Questions. What's your favorite word? From No Stupid Questions. Because I don't think it's a stupid question. Why is nuclear energy considered clean energy when it produces nuclear waste? So, back to Stupid Questions. What was your favorite school lunch food? Back to Random Questions. What is the most spontaneous thing you've done? Back to No Stupid Questions. How come dog is an insult in almost every language, yet we all agree dogs are man's best friend? So, back to Stupid Questions. I don't think this is necessarily a stupid question. Do you guys think in the future generations will make jokes about our generation, criticize our generation like we do with past generations, and see us as backwards and stupid? Random question. It's cold. You can cover up with a blanket from the waist up or waist down. Which do you choose and why?